tonight, the Seahawks hammer the Giants 24-3. Remember, they got beat 40-0 at home opening night against the Cowboys. Daniel Jones was sacked 10 times, 2 picks, fumble loss. Let's just say Danny Dimes tonight wasn't worth a wooden nickel. What you got for me?
Listen, I love Daniel Jones. I love him. Obviously, he is the $40 million quarterback in the Big Apple, the New York Giants. They decided not to pay Saquon Barkley, obviously, even though Saquon Barkley is hurt. I think he could have helped a little bit tonight. I don't think it would have changed the outcome of the game. But Daniel Jones, just watching him play the first half, his longest pass in the first half was 7 yards. Was 7 yards. That's not going to get you a W at all. At all. Darren Waller, if I'm not mistaken, had 2 catches.
Yeah.
2 catches, if I'm not mistaken. They were moving the ball. They were moving the ball down the field. They were efficient, but you had a fumble. That fumble when
who fumbled the ball?
Daniel Jones, strip sack.
Okay.
Strip sack. And you know what the Seahawks got out of that? They got points out of that. There was a pick 6.
Who did that?
By Daniel Jones.
Okay.
Devin Witherspoon played out of his mind, but I'm gonna stick with the Giants right now. It was an atrocious showing by the Giants offensively. If there was a shining light or a glimmer of hope for the Giants, it was Kayvon Thibodeau. Thibodeau. He played some good goddamn football tonight and was one of the bright spots on the defensive side of the ball.
You know, they say money doesn't change you. It makes you more of what you already are. In sports, money doesn't change you. It makes you richer of what you already are. Daniel Jones is a richer average quarterback. And somehow owners and general managers think that, you know what, if we pay this guy, he'll all of a sudden get it. That's not how it works, Ocho. You can't say if a guy is lazy, well, I'm going to give him $100 million and that's going to motivate him. If you're not self-motivated, it's going to be hard for money to motivate you. And Daniel Jones is an average quarterback. That's what he is. And somehow they thought by giving him $40 million was going to change what he actually is. And it's not.
But I think we say he was an average quarterback based on the standard that we hold quarterbacks to. Your Peyton Mannings, your Tom Brady's, your Patrick Mahomes, your Joe Burrows, the upper echelon of quarterbacks in today's
Isn't
NFL
that what he was
right
taking
now.
in the draft to be?
Yes, it is. But it hasn't panned out to be such. But with the market was with him being up as far as his rookie contract, the timing. I mean, he just that is what he commands in general, whether he wants to or not. They had to pay him because where else were you going? You needed a quarterback.
Let me ask you a question. Can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
The housing market is booming.
Right.
If the house isn't worth $20 million, I'm not paying $20 million because that's what the market bears.
That's not the way the NFL works. You know that. You know how hard it is to find a quarterback. You understand how hard it is to find a quarterback.
You pay one. So you just, even though you don't, do you believe the Giants actually think this guy can take them to a Super Bowl? Yes or no? Deep down.
Do I believe? I'm not
the one cutting the check.
I'm not the one cutting the check.
The Giants.
In order and
pull up what Ocho said about him in week 1.
Hold on. I don't think they have the tools to be able to take the Giants to the Super Bowl. I don't think they have the tools because they're not using for one, with the tools they do have at their disposal, they're not using them the right way. They're not using them the right way. They just not.
What? Here's the thing. How can I use it? Go ahead.
And now that I think about it, I think about Rex Grossman, right? Remember Rex Grossman took the Chicago Bears to the Super Bowl?
Yes.
Because for one, the defense was good, right?
Right, and they ran the football with Thomas Jones. And
they ran the football. Obviously, it's a pass-happy league now. They have a great weaponry over there. Sterling Shepard.
Come on, Ocho, man.
Stop
saying that.
Listen, you don't need superstars to get you don't need superstars.
You gotta have superstar receivers or a superstar quarterback. You can't have average on top of average and expect greatness. When did that happen?
You don't have to be great to win a Super Bowl. When is the last time we had a great receiver to win a Super Bowl?
You had great quarterback. Is Patrick Mahomes not a great quarterback?
Yeah,
so
he's a great quarterback.
You telling me you can take an average receiver, an average quarterback, and expect greatness? Is that what you're telling me?
You know what comes into play? You know what comes into play? If you have average and average at receiving quarterback, you know what comes into play then? You know where
average.
But listen, that's where your coaching comes into play. That's where your play calling comes into play. That's when if you play spades, right, and you get a certain hand and you get a card, the cards that you were dealt, you got to play a different kind of way to win. You got to play the game a different kind of way if you want to win.
Ocho.
The cards that you were dealt, you got to be able to figure it out. You can't.
Do you believe the Patriots, when they was winning all of those Super Bowls, do you believe they could have won? I'm not the first one notwithstanding, but you believe they could have won those Super Bowls without the greatness of Tom Brady? They could have taken any other average quarterback. I'm going to leave everything else the same. The only thing I'm removing is Tom Brady. Do you believe they win those championships?
No.
Okay. No. Now, with that being said, you just told me you can take an average quarterback, average receiver.
I didn't. No. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if you have if I don't like calling nobody average anyway. This is the NFL. They're there for a reason. These are the 1%ers.
But there's tiers, there's levels.
Okay, there is levels. But listen to me. If you have an average quarterback room or average quarterback, if you have average receivers, that means the coaching philosophy, the scheme in what you do and go out there week in and week out has to be that much better. It has to be that much better. That's where the coaching comes into play. I'm telling you.
It's not X's and O's. It's Jims and Joes. So you keep telling me Coach Belichick, is he not great? How is he doing? How is he doing without the greatness of Brady?
Coach Belichick is a defensive mind, right? Coach Belichick is a
defensive mind with Tom Brady,
coach, right?
He was defensive with Tom Brady.
Listen, he's a defensive minded coach, though. How's the New England Patriots defense doing? They're doing goddamn good.
Okay, how about this?
They're doing good.
Okay, I'm going to take all these great. You say, okay, Charlie Weiss was a great offensive mind. How did Charlie Weiss do it?
Notre Dame, Charlie Weiss?
Listen, let me finish my point, and I'm going to let you chime in.
Yes,
Charlie Weiss was Tom Brady's first offensive coordinator. How did he do it at Notre Dame? How did he do it at Kansas? Okay, Josh McDaniels. How did he do it at Denver? How's he doing at Oakland? Excuse me, now Las Vegas. Right. Okay, I'm going to go another one. Who else? Bill O'Brien. How did he do it at Houston? So you keep telling me X and O, or you keep telling me the great minds. Bro, stop fooling yourself, Ocho. You know it comes down to players.
I'm not. Yeah, it does come down to players, but again, this is the NFL. This is the NFL. Even though there are tiers, I'm just saying, in order for things to work, in order for the Giants to get the most out of their players, you got to put them in positions to succeed. And now, if you have average players, and you say you have an average quarterback, then the coaching has to come into play and be that much more better than what you have than the product on the field. It just has to, or it gets exposed. And right now they're getting exposed.
Ocho, all I'm saying is that the only thing you're going to get now, you keep saying, is tiers. T-E-A-R-S, tiers. That's what you're going to get with Daniel Jones, not the tier.
It's only a few tier ones. It's only a handful of them.
Yes.
And everybody else got to come to play. Everybody else got to come to play ball.
Ocho, Daniel Jones is not even tier 2 or tier 3. Stop fooling yourself. Stop telling the people that, Ocho. Listen, you and I, we're going to joke, we're going to have a great time. But in order for us to maintain credibility, we got to be truthful now. You know, Daniel Jones is not a tier 2 or a tier 3 quarterback.
I didn't speak on him being tier 1, 2, or 3. I just talked about what he did tonight, and it wasn't sufficient. I did that.
What about week 1?
I wasn't sufficient enough to win the game.
So what about week 1?
That was bad. That was bad all across the board.
All I know is I keep hearing,
and I only said it because it was week 1. I wasn't all up in arm because it was week 1. Somebody got to win, somebody got to lose.
You keep this goodness. You keep saying that. You keep saying, "Oh, goodness, good," and Daniel Jones keep giving you these performances. So, how much more do you need to see before you come to the realization? Say, you know what, man? I mean, the Giants not going to win with him.
I just said he didn't play well tonight.
When has he played well?
He played well enough. He's done just enough to get the contract that he got. Because if he wasn't, they wouldn't have paid him.
So we placing everything on just
there's something that the Giants organization saw in Daniel Jones where he was rewarded the contract that he got.
So are you working for the Giants organization? Are you working for the Giants organization? I need you to speak to what you're seeing.
Okay. I just told you what I saw, and I said it tonight. I'm not gonna say it any worse than what I already did. I stated he threw an interception, 2 of them at that. One to Diggs, one to Witherspoon. He had a strip sack. All of those ended up in points.
Yes,
for the Seahawks. He didn't play well tonight.
Okay,
he didn't play well tonight. Okay. He didn't.
So over the course of his career, have you seen more good or more bad?
That's a goddamn good question.
Okay, well, give me a good answer.
Well, based on what you're saying, I haven't watched enough of Daniel Jones to make that kind of assessment.
You watched enough of Daniel Jones. The man's been in the league 5 years. Stop it. Yeah, the man's been in the league a long time.
Yeah, he has. I think what we've been able to see from him is not the worst of the worst, and it's not the best of the best. It's the middle of the pack somewhere where he's someone that you can work with and
to do what?
He's someone that you can work with and be efficient with.
And accomplish what?
If he wasn't as bad as you think, if he was bad as you think and keep saying he is, despite what he's putting up, he wouldn't have gotten the money he's gotten. So it's something that the Giants see.
So everybody
that the Giants see. That I can't. There's nothing I can say.
There is, Ocho. That's what we're on here for.
But I did. I just told you.
You question. Let me ask you this.
I just told you that.
So everybody that's gotten a contract in the NFL, I'm not saying deserve, because deserve is the saying, but has played, has basically like put up the numbers to warrant them getting the contract they received. Everybody that's ever played in the NFL has done that.
You got it. You have to do something. There has to be something that they see for you to get your money. Because they ain't just paying anybody. You know what? Here you go $40 million.
You just told me
money like that.
That's not what you just told me. You just told me where else were the Giants gonna go. They had to pay somebody. That's what you just told me.
I'm not saying it in that matter. He was the best option at the time, which is why they paid him.
So would you rather get hit by a Mack truck or a dump truck going 60 miles an hour?
Either way, you're going to either way.
Okay, there you go. Whoop that is. That's what I've been trying to get you to say. See, you see how simple that was? See, once I give you things in an analogy form, you grasp the concept a lot. It's simple.
Listen, you're killing me. When it's 32 teams in the NFL.
Yes.
Now your top tiered, you got about 4 or 5 players.
Yes.
You got 4 or 5 players. So everybody else, you got to have something to work with. So there's something that the Giants saw in Daniel Jones that they knew he is the answer for what we're trying to do. This is all we got to work with right now.
Well, here's the thing.
That's it.
The problem that you have is that the reason why Daniel Jones can be somewhat effective if Saquon is in and he can run the ball, he can catch the ball out of the backfield, so he can take those 3 to 5 yard routes and get you first downs. He can get you 10. He can get you 15. He's a threat to take the ball the distance. Without him, now you're asking Daniel Jones and mediocre receivers. And then look, if you're in the NFL, you're NFL, but there's levels to. Everybody's not Tyreek. So 1 or 2 things got to happen. Now, if you want to go far, somebody has to be great on the offensive side. Your quarterback, your receivers, something has to be great. Because if it's not, you're not going to go very far. Average is not going to get you very far.
And again, that's why the first thing I said, these are your words, if you have an average quarterback room,
yes,
you have an average quarterback. If you have so-called average receivers,
yes,
that means to mask and get the most out of your offense and offensive players, the coaching and the scheme has to be that much better if you don't have the players.
Okay, so tell me the coach.
It just does.
Tell me the coach that can
get it done.
That can get it done with Daniel Jones and those receivers.
Oh, well, he's in Kansas City, and the other one is he's in Kansas City, calling the plays in Kansas City, and the other one
has Patrick Mahomes,
and the other one is calling the plays in DC.
He's Patrick Mahomes,
and it's another one last name Shanahan. He's with the 49ers.
Okay.
I'm giving you offensive coaches that have a creative mind that can get the most out of their players, which is maybe what the Giants offensive staff is lacking. The creativity that they need to be successful if everybody's so average.
But here's the thing. If you have average quarterback and you have average receivers, what's the one thing they can't do? Turn the ball over.
You can't turn the ball over.
What has Daniel Jones done just about as much as more than just about anybody else in the league since he's been in the league?
He's turned the ball over.
So now you got
to protect the ball.
You don't have greatness. Like Patrick Mahomes can play bad, but he has the ability to overcome that.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones can't play, but can't turn the ball over and have the ability to overcome that because he doesn't have a Justin Jefferson. He doesn't have a Tyreek. He doesn't have these elite level receivers or Ravens to all of a sudden give him short fields. Right. So that's the problem that you're running into with the Daniel Jones. Now, this notion that if we in the NFL, but you notice that, Ocho, quarterback is the only position that they'll overpay and say, well, if we overpay him, we can make something out. They won't do that for receiver. They won't do that for the running back. The running back, even the top running backs can barely get money. So tell me the other position that you can be average to below average. They'll pay you above a market value above to say, you know what? All we got to do. Well, where else can we go to find it? They'll go out and find an offensive lineman. They'll go out and find everybody. But for an average quarterback, I'm not saying you're trying to replace Patrick Mahomes or Justin Herbert or one of these, top 10 quarterbacks.
Right.
Daniel Jones not top 10.
But this is the funny thing about it. You know how scarce the quarterback position is? You know how scarce and hard it is to find a quality quarterback or just a quarterback that can run your offense and just be efficient? You don't have to be Patrick Mahomes. You don't have to be Jalen Hurts. You don't have to be you don't have to be Joe Burrow or goddamn Josh Allen. But to find a quarterback that can be efficient and just run the offense and just give you a chance. Can you give me a chance on Sunday? Can you be efficient?
Turn the ball over.
It's still hard to find. It's hard to find.
Ocho, the problem that I have is that you gave a guy that kind of money when you knew your offensive line was in shambles. That offensive line, they didn't upgrade the offensive line. So the offensive line got him pummeled last year. They're getting pumped. We thought he got obliterated in week 1. They only sacked him 7 times. Damn. He got 10 tonight.
Yeah.
10. And so I just don't understand the Giants' philosophy is that you don't protect him. You don't give him a true number 1 receiver that he can throw to. And now Saquon is out. Now where do you go? Where do you find it? Because you got to say, and when he came off the field, the coach, Brian Daboll, was like, bro, we ran a whip route. You run that route anticipating the DB is going to be on your hip. So if you're going to miss, you got to miss inside, Ocho.
You got to miss inside.
If you miss on his hip, the DB is on his hip, you're going to hit him right in his chest. And where did he hit him at?
Right between the numbers.
Rails, I like a reservation for 6. And that's a very hard restaurant to get into in New York.
Oh yeah. The
Giants now are 3-11 in the last 11 games in which Saquon Barkley has missed. Daniel Jones has more interceptions than touchdowns in games that Saquon Barkley does not play. Daniel Jones is 1-12 in primetime games, worst winning percentage ever. Saquon, I'm gonna say that again. John Mara, the Tishes, whomever else the general manager is, Brian Daboll. You don't go because Daniel Jones. Saquon Barkley is the engine. Saquon Barkley is the engine.
Everybody knew that. But for some reason,
the Giants
didn't. Oh, they knew. They knew. They knew. They understand. They understand. They're
trying to toe the line for the NFL, for the league. To keep the running back. They're trying to keep the running back market suppressed.
They're trying to suppress the market.
Yeah.
But now your team's suffering.